I'd like to call to order the Zion Park District meeting, February 15th. Order. Okay, please read the roll call.
Yeah.
Commissioner Pye?
Yeah.
Commissioner Magiera? Here. Commissioner Rivers? Here. President Harden?
Here. Okay, if I can ask everybody to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, one nation. Thank you. Okay. I will go ahead and entertain a motion that we approve the minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the Personnel and Finance Subcommittee and regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners of Zion Park District on January 18th.
All right, have a second. Kate, please read the roll call.
Oh.
Commissioner Pye? Commissioner Magiera? Aye. Commissioner President Harden?
Aye. Okay. I'd like to welcome you guests. All right. I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda. Do we have any changes or anything?
Yeah, no changes. We'll have a quick executive session.
I'll make a motion to approve
Okay. I have a second.
Second.
I have a second. Kate, please read the roll call.
the agenda. Commissioner Green?
Aye.
Commissioner Pye? Aye. Commissioner Magiera? Aye. Commissioner Rivers? President Harden?
Aye. Commissioners' comments. I do have a comment. We went to the IAPD conference down in Chicago, and I do highly recommend next year that people go to this. And not so much, it's for the camaraderie. You get to meet your own folks that do the same thing that you do at the other park districts. It's a good thing to get some names out there. Share ideas. I mean, this is not like some top secret where everybody's on their own sheet of music. Everybody's doing the same thing. So it's good to get ideas out there and find out what other park districts are doing. And, you might say, maybe that's a good idea. And I do highly recommend the commissioners also go because there's a lot of good information that's put out there for us. So it was a great event, as always.
The Chicago attend?
What's that?
Chicago Park District. Did they attend that?
I think so.
Yes, yeah, they were there. And actually, there was a lot of good stuff that came out of that too. So I recommend everybody here from Zion. I will tell you, we have a good reputation. Believe it or not, we have a good reputation down there at IAPD. Not going to say it's me because nothing's about me. But I do brag about this place all the time. And, I will tell you, and I don't have to brag because the results are there. I mean, you look at the numbers, you look at what we've done, nobody has to brag. The brag's right here in writing, right here in paper. So I wanna congratulate each and every one of you because, you guys are what makes things happen. So, but I do highly recommend that we get more participation down there next year. It's a great event. So, anybody else have anything? Go ahead, Jess.
No one has this place. That's how I'm hoping I run on the business you. And I think we just have all of us help you and you.
Yeah, I agree, Jess, and you did learn. I mean, I saw you at more sessions than I don't know how you got around that place. And you're talking over 5,000 people at that conference. So, yeah, good on you, Jess. And, like I said, you always got some great ideas at the meetings. You always come up with some good comments that, people really don't think about. So, Good on you, Jess, and I'm glad you learned something and gained a lot from the conference.
Good.
Anybody else? Dave? Okay. Next, anything from the attorneys?
Nope.
Eric?
Yep.
All right. I will go ahead and entertain a motion for unpaid bills.
Make a motion to approve the expenditures in the amount of $323,886.03 for January 2024.
I have a second. I have a second. Kate, please read the roll call.
Aye.
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 Commissioner McGarrett? Aye. Commissioner Rivers? President?
All right, Eric.
Okay.
Executive report.
Yeah, just to echo what Bill and Jesse had said, the state conference was great. Nearly 4,000 people attended. It was Jesse, Bill, myself, Esme. The four of us really had a good time down there, and I think took away some valuable knowledge from the sessions and made some good contacts, and also networked with people. It's good to develop those relationships with the important vendors and each other. So it is a valuable conference, and it was another good year there. We do thank the park board's support for allowing staff and everyone to attend. It's a great opportunity. Another IAPD event that's coming up is the legislative breakfast. I think I mentioned this at the last meeting, but just wanted to mention it one more time. It's put on by the Illinois Association of Park Districts, their joint legislative committee. It's going to be held at Vernon Hills on February 23rd. I have RSVP for Commissioner Pye, Commissioner Magiera, and President Hartman. So if either Commissioner from Maine or Commissioner Rivers would like to go, I'm happy to attend.
Who's the date on?
February 23 at 8 a.m. in Vernon Hills.
I'll be out of town.
Yeah. Okay, no problem.
I was in.
You'd like to go, Carolyn? Okay, I will RSVP. Also, I just wanted to mention the PGA show that two staff from Shepherd's Crook attended. They put a nice write-up in there, I think. It was a very thorough write-up. And really, I think, conveyed well how they took advantage of that conference and the different interactions that they had. They did take away one thing at this point that they're looking at doing. It's that Tag Marshall software that they're looking at. So we're working with the attorney right now on the contract. We've had demos of it. It's like a geo-tracking software on the carts that shows you, where any cart is on the course at any given time, and it gives you data as far as like, are they on pace? Are they slowing down pace? How long are each cart taking to play each hole? And then obviously it gives the player data on the hole, right? Like how far they are away, so they don't have to stop and take out their rangefinder and things like that. It does not keep score. No, it does not keep score. But so that was one of the things that they saw a demo down there that they're working on.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, we're working through the
Very
contract
cool.
right now. It is neat.
And that gives the player the distance they have to the hole. That's a lot of time.
Yeah, it does, right.
Collect all this.
Right, and it gives the Rangers, right, the staff as well out at Shepherd's Crook to say, hey, the guy
This
that's
guy.
currently on 13 is really got a log jam behind him. He's got to get a little faster. So pace of play is a big thing for a good experience. So.
Jesse reminds us that anyway when we go out there. Jess, we're going too slow.
Also, just wanted to put in there one last time here, just a reminder on the budget review sessions that we have coming up. The first review session is Thursday, March 7th at 5:30. So staff are working hard on kind of finalizing budgets and reviewing those, getting those ready for the budget review meeting. If you flip to the last 2 pages here in the packet, wanted to highlight a couple more events that were coming up. One is the Black History Program. That will be Saturday, February 24th at noon. That's the second to the last page of the packet. David Osborne always does a tremendous job on putting that program together. It's always a great event. And then on the very last page of the packet, We are hosting a town hall meeting with State Senator Mary Edley Allen and our State Representative Joyce Mason. So really happy to have our two legislators come here at the Park District for a town hall. And Kay and Christine did a great job working with their staffers, to make that happen and to bring our two representatives, to our district and to our facility for the public to come and interact with them. That will be held right in those rooms over there, like 3 and 4 here at the Leisure Center upstairs.
Yeah, I would really love to have all the commissioners there as well to support. So, great job.
Yeah, and I had sent out a link as part of my email. You don't have to pre-register. They were just hoping to maybe get like an advance notice on a head count, but you don't have to register to attend. So tell your neighbors and friends. And
Yeah, this is
couple
not something
questions.
easy either to set up. So great job to you guys.
Yeah.
Who are involved.
And that is all for my report.
All right. Great job. Okay, ma'am. I think you are ready to go.
So this is Lacey
Great.
Lawrence from Hitchcock Design Group.
Yes, this is David Park.
Been here a few times before.
Okay.
And everyone has a printout of the slideshow as well. You have one here.
All right, everybody can see?
Yep.
Okay.
Do you want us to turn down the lights?
Everybody okay? You want the lights turned down? Easier? No? Good with the lights?
Yeah, right now.
Let's do it.
All right, so we're here to talk about Days of Park. So I want to give you an update on what we've been working on for the past several months. So just to familiarize yourself with the project, it's right off 21st Street, so it's adjacent to the school. So this is some of the existing conditions. There's a parking lot here, main parking lot, a small parking lot off to the side. You have some pavement area, which is 2 basketball courts and your skate park. And then this path brings you kind of into the center core space, which has a building. So the north has restrooms, men and women's. The south has a small storage area. And in the middle is kind of an open air pavilion, which has some ancillary outdoor space right adjacent to it. And then you have in this wheel, you have a playground. There's some engineered wood fiber as well as sand play options. And then all the south are 3 baseball fields. So there's some lighting, dugouts, fencing, backstops, irrigation, etc. in there. And then you actually there's a tree line and you own the south parcel, but for this project we're really focusing on the improvements in the north parcel here. And then off to this side there's a small area of detention existing. So we developed a overall master plan for the whole park, 2022, I think, ish.
Yeah.
So the master plan included renovation of the existing parking lots, new basketball courts, new skate park, renovation of the playground, and kind of shifting all that closer to the parking area, which really opened up more of the south for conversion of the ball field into soccer. And then some native area here with interpretive signage, completing the walking loop, because currently it ends here, and so you have a gap in the walking loop. So we wanted to complete that, so you have a full perimeter walk, as well as some building upgrades, and then potentially additional detention for the proposed improvements.
What's the distance on that walking?
I don't know. I could get you that dimension.
No, I'm just asking. I mean, is it a mile? Is it a half mile?
What's your guess, Rich?
It's 4 miles.
4 miles. It has to be at least a quarter mile.
It's not a
in
legend
range.
like that.
Yeah. I'm not wondering if that's okay. So that's going to be a quarter mile.
And it's over a quarter mile. I'm not
Okay.
sure. So the grant amenity for it to count for OSLAD needs to be a minimum of a quarter mile to count as a recreation amenity. So we had to make sure the loop was over a quarter mile.
Okay.
Right. So then we submitted an OSLAD grant, with IDNR, and this was the proposed recreation components. So not everything in the master plan was part of the original offsite grant. So that included just one soccer field, one baseball or basketball court, the renovation of the skate park, renovation of the playground. So that was and completing the walking loop. All that was part of the offsite grant that we received $600,000 from IDNR. And then since then, we've kind of taken that master plan and refined it into the plan that we have now. That's going out to bid next week. We did kind of design the full build out of the master plan here that we'll be bidding out just to get bid numbers for all the various components. So that included a new parking lot, basketball courts, playground, renovations to the building here, both soccer fields, skate park, and completing the walking loop. So I'll zoom into each of these areas a little bit further. So this is kind of the north half, which is like our core site. So most of the features are here in this core centered area. So we have a parking lot. I think we were close to like 160 parking spaces. We are adding a secondary entrance just given that volume of parking. We want to make sure we have 2 entrances and exits off of 21st Street. So we're permitting that with the local county transportation. We have a bunch of handicap accessible parking stalls up here that lead us into the main site, which will have our playground. So we've really shifted the playground from over here closer to parking. And yet still, if you're coming to the soccer fields with your extended family and you're staying at the shelter, you can still see the games, but yet also have younger kids who might be playing on the playground. So it really has nice open views to both amenities here. And then we have our 2 basketball courts and then the skate park here. Moving further to the south, so we have our 2 soccer fields. So they're graded kind of with a ridge down the middle towards east or west. And then we have our walking path through. So as part of the proposed improvements that we're also bidding several alternates for the fields, which include some additional under drains, additional fill to create better cross slopes on the fields, and access for water with quick couplers at all 4 corners of the field. Those are really good. And then focusing on some of these site furnishings. So again, the basketball courts are concrete. So they'll be the same that are going in at Shiloh this summer. The skate park, so we're still working through the design with a skate park vendor. So this is one thing that's not going to be publicly bid, given that it's kind of a specialty trade in order to construct these contoured concrete skate parks. So we're working directly with the vendor. It would be an owner purchase and install item. And then given just the specialty nature of it, it's something that could be excluded of public bidding. You really need specialized skills in order to construct this type of feature. But this is kind of an aesthetic that we're considering, but we're continuing to advance the concept for this park. And then this is the playground equipment that was selected. This is through Burke. It's already been purchased. So we have a 2 to 5 structure, a 5 to 12 structure, some additional freestanding play components, a long zip line here from the side to here, and then some swings. So 2 buckets, 2 belts, a face-to-face, and an ADA. Just some zoom-ins of each of the features. The 2 to 5, and then some of the freestanding pieces. Also part of the bid, we're bidding an alternate for a trellis that's right adjacent to the bathroom building. Again, just to provide some swing benches, so we would only be bidding like 1 swing bench with a trellis, and then there'll be some additional outdoor seating with picnic tables, etc., adjacent to that space. We're also renovating 2 drinking fountains that are out there, so they'll be like Shiloh, except for these will not have the pet bowl given the proximity to the fields. We don't really want to invite pets to use the open lawn space. So those will just be the dual arms, the ADA arm, and then the standard height. And then overall project budget here. We have our construction costs up here, 1.5. And we're holding several contingency items. One is bid contingency, just given the fluctuation in the market at the time of bidding, whether contractors are busy or needing work. So we always hold a 5% minimum just to account for fluctuation in bid numbers. and then we're holding a 10% bid contingency for construction. So we're still getting our geotech borings at the moment, so we're trying to understand what the subgrade conditions might be. We want to hold contingency for any of those unforeseen conditions that are experienced in the field, as well as once things are getting built and we want to make some design tweaks, we want to hold some money here just for some of those potential costs. We also have our owner purchase items here, so I actually have another, if we jump for a minute, this is the detail of all the owner purchase items. So that included the playground equipment that was already purchased, the skate park that we're still advancing design with, the basketball goals, soccer goals, interpretive sign, as well as site furnishing like benches, trash receptacles, bike racks, etc. And then we have other A&E fees for design, permitting, grant reporting, topographic survey, boundary survey, geotech investigation, and then testing during construction of subgrade material hardscapes. The next page, as I mentioned, we're bidding several alternates. This isn't the extensive list. We added 2 more. So we have the soccer field irrigation, the second basketball court that wasn't part of the grant, the parking lot with lighting. So there'll be 6 light poles at the parking lot as well. So it will be illuminated like it is now. We're renovating some of the building with new lighting on the interior of the restrooms, as well as the open canopy space. So we'll be getting new lighting. And then the optional trellis with swing bench there. And then again, as I mentioned, we're going to bid 2 other alternates for additional under drains at the field, just so when you're irrigating and maintaining, it can help shed the water quickly so the field doesn't have any wet spots, as well as adding some additional fill to grade the fields at the ideal 1.5%. Those will also be bid as alternates. Brief schedule. So we're, again, as I mentioned, we'll be bidding next week. It'll be open for 3 weeks. We'll be opening bids March 13th, I think. And then we'll be coming to that board meeting the following Thursday, 21st,
March.
Yeah. So we'll be sharing with you the bid results at that time. Any questions?
I have anything? Questions? So really, we're not voting on anything other than approval of the plan.
Yeah, I would say the approval of the plan to go to bid.
Well, great presentation. Really appreciate it. And, any commissioners have any questions or anything? Okay, I will go ahead and entertain a motion that we approve the master plan for David Park. I have a second. Kate, please do the roll call. Great job.
Commissioner Hyde? Aye. President Harden?
Thank you so much again for
Thank you.
see you in March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by then, Shiloh will be starting construction here in the next couple of weeks,
So what is that? April is when they start, right?
or weather permitting.
Yeah.
You know, they're finishing up the Dinah culvert. It's the same contractor who did Dinah Landworks Limited was the low responsible bidder for Shiloh. Once they finish up that work, they'll be moving over to Shiloh.
Okay.
And we are just donating
Yeah.
the playground that's at Shiloh, the large piece that kids around the world. So they come and they take the playground that we're renovating and they install it in other countries around the world for kids that don't have access to playgrounds.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I usually send you pictures, so I'll share them with you.
definitely.
That'll be great.
Kids
That'd be
using them
great.
when they install
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
it. When they close up.
Okay.
So Lacey's actually gonna get on the road and head back to Naperville.
Yeah, absolutely. Great job.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
See you in March. Be safe. All right.
All right, thank you, Lacey.
The next on the list is the parental leave policy.
Yeah, so enclosed in the packet is the policy on, newly proposed policy on parental leave. This was actually something I had been thinking about for, a couple months because our district currently does not have one. And additionally, it was timely that they had a session on it down at the IAPD conference. So, hopefully you've had a chance to read through the policy. What we're proposing here is 8 weeks of paid parental leave, which again is maternity/paternity, that the employee would use in conjunction with the FMLA leave that they'd be entitled to anyways in this situation of, Family Medical Leave Act. But again, our current policy is the Family Medical Leave Act, which is 3 months of unpaid leave, and employees currently use their own PTO time to cover that, right, whether it's sick or vacation. And just again, some of the benefits I think for a parental leave policy, promoting the mental health benefits for the parents and strengthening that family bonds for a young parent, increases the likelihood that parents will return back to work instead of just saying, I don't want to go back to my job anymore. I just want to stay home and raise my family. So hopefully that increases the likelihood. Some of the other ones I listed here, there could potentially be future legislation that just really governs this and requires us to put in a policy. So if that were to be the case, hopefully we'd be ahead of the game on that. And just one of the survey stats that I saw at the conference presentation was 82% of Americans do actually support paid paternity leave. 82% for mothers and 70% for fathers. So, obviously in the private sector, this kind of policy or fringe benefit is much more prevalent. If you're working at like an Abbott or Uline or something like that, right? For park districts, it's much less prevalent. And I think it would be a nice offering to our fringe benefit policy for employees. So happy to take any questions on what we're thinking about and how we consider administering it. Curious to get your feedback on think it's valuable or not.
I did have a lot of questions for you, but I've done my research and I have meeting. No, it's pretty fair policy the way it's written now, the way it stands. It's vague where it should be vague, meaning not too lonely details where it could be problematic for us. So I was overall pretty satisfied with what it there. And it makes it competitive as far as the employer.
I guess, explain to me how the FMLA works in conjunction with this.
Well, so FMLA is
The long, short-term leave, like.
yeah, it's government allowed or legally allowed the Family Medical Leave Act,
Right.
To take care of a family member, and so this would they're entitled to 12 weeks under FMLA. So this would really kind of cover 8 weeks of the person's time. So what I'm saying is in conjunction with is they would not take 2 months of the parental leave policy and then come back and say, okay, now I'm taking 3 months of FMLA.
Right.
So they would run concurrently.
So they're not getting paid for the 1 month.
If they decided and wanted to take that additional 4 weeks, they could, right, under federal law.
Yeah.
And they would use then their PTO bank of time. Now, in the presentation that I saw, the couple park districts that presented on it, they do have their policy is 12 weeks, right? And I just thought initially, because we don't have a policy at all, let's start slow and start with 8 weeks instead of starting with the full 12. And then if we had an employee that had the situation, we don't have to dial it back. That's a little more difficult for our district because we all are a small district. So obviously, when that employee is out, the other staff are going to have to pitch in and cover their responsibilities. So that's why I'm just proposing we start with 8 weeks. But I can see what you're saying as far as what they are entitled to.
The FLMA, just for clarification, that's PTO, paid time off. They have other folks or unpaid time off.
Yeah.
So, but this is 8 weeks of pay.
Correct.
Okay.
This would be 8 weeks of
So that
pay.
can run within that 12-week period.
Right. Correct. Or there is within here they could use it intermittently over the course of a rolling 12-month period. 12-month period.
Yeah,
So
I've never
it's-
heard of that before.
Yeah. Yeah. So someone could say that, okay, if I'm taking off 8 weeks, right, let's say that's 40 days or so, right? They may say, I would like to take off, half day Thursday and all day Friday for the rest of for that 12-month period. even though like 20 days. And as long as that schedule is agreed upon with their supervisor, and the schedule is set and agreed upon in advance, and it doesn't cause too much hardship on the district's operations, we would also allow them to take an
Be within the 12 months.
Correct.
And what happens if it's not all completed, they just lose it?
Yeah, they would lose it.
So do you have any concerns of it being held just for like the holidays, where then you'd have problems staffing other people that want to be off for the holidays?
Well, that's why the schedule would need to be pre-approved and discussed with the supervisor and agreed upon in advance. So they can't just come and say, "Oh, remember I got 32 more parental leave days. I'm going to take off this day, and I'm going to take off that day." So we would want a set schedule, so everyone's on the same page.
All right, anybody have any other questions?
Yeah, because I think since we've been applying for a permit.
Right.
I think it was pretty well written. Great
Yeah,
job on
thanks.
that.
I mean, I tried to manipulate a couple of example policies or existing policies from other districts and manipulate it to fit.
All right, well, if we don't have any more questions, I will go ahead and entertain a motion to approve the new policy for parental leave.
I'll make the motion to approve the parental leave policy as presented.
Have a second? Have a second? Okay, please read the roll call.
Commissioner Perez?
Aye.
Commissioner Todd?
Aye.
Commissioner Magiera? Aye. President Hall?
Aye. Okay, the pool heater,
Yeah, the pool heater, which I believe we've kind of touched on here and there. The bid opening was conducted on Tuesday, and I'm sorry, I'm just getting these bid results here. We did have 3 bidders. We had 3 bidders for the project, but some background on why we actually need a heater, right? Is because the heater, we have 2 heaters out there that are running simultaneously to heat the pool water over at Port Shiloh Pool. The one heater is probably 25 years old or so, and it's just kind of limping along, but it is working. The second heater is about 5 years old, and that was the heater that we experienced the gas supply issue with from North Shore Gas, where we did not have the correct supply to the heater, which caused it to burn up. So we're aware of that situation, and that's a difficult situation to tell North Shore Gas that we need additional gas to make the heater function properly. But regardless, the situation we're in now is the one heater, which is the newest, most reliable, has burned up. So that was the one that we did replace. And I will just read the bid results here, and then if you have any more questions on specifics and things, Rich has put a lot of time into this. So we were happy to get 3 bids. One was from Maverick Pools, in the amount of $57,950. A second bid was received from Cable Heating and Air Conditioning for $44,700. And the third bid, which we are recommending, is from McDonough Mechanical in the amount of $43,700. And honestly, Mike Priller, who was here, he did a great job in helping manage this bid process, writing the bid specs and the bid documents to make sure that we're all legally compliant with the bid that we had put out, and to make sure, that the specifications were conveyed to the different contractors as they were inquiring about, before they submitted the bid. So our recommendation is to award the bid to McDonough Mechanical in the amount of $43,700. 43,700. And if you have any questions on the actual heater itself or the plan, Rich and I are happy to answer them.
I have one question.
Yeah.
Are we gonna have the same issue
Right.
with it all
Right.
burning up again?
So actually, a part of the process of that is to make sure upon completion of the job that it's operating properly, in conjunction with an IP certification. So at that time, it will probably verify that the gas pressure is not correct. So that's why we're doing one heater at this time, because summer, so they still go by the old one until the new one is ready.
Right. So we anticipate this heater to be fully operational, that to take probably a long process of time between permitting and then once the heater is actually hooked up, then working with the contractor, McDonough Mechanical, whom we have a very good relationship with, working with them to work with the gas company to say, this is a problem, we really can't function this right now without you guys resolving that gas supply issue.
That's part of the bid.
Yeah, it says in there that they will help us work through that. Yes.
Anything from the gas company about the last issue?
Not so far, it actually, the company that would be awarded the bid actually is familiar with the situation. They did some troubleshooting on the unit previous to the burning of the unit, so they're familiar with the situation, and we're hoping they're gonna be in our corner on this, you know, go to gas company and help us resolve this.
Two questions. What were the three bids again?
The three bids were 57,950. The second bid was 44,700, and the low bid was 43,700. Right.
But second question was the heater that blew out. Who installed that?
So that was actually done by one of the three that put a bid in. I have had some assistance with it initially years prior, but unfortunately we were able to get the one with the manufacturer.
That's not it.
Yeah, unfortunately, we paid a lot of money for this equipment.
All right, anybody else have anything?
I got one bill.
Yeah, go ahead, Jess.
Eric, what was when you pick up the one 20 years or the one with 5 years?
The newer one, unfortunately. Yeah, the older one does still work, Jess. Barely.
Oh, okay.
Creeping along, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I just want to know how long the new parts
So the actual, the parts when we did the repair, so parts unfortunately, they don't put any warranty on parts. It's the whole unit itself, and being that that was like 2019, I think we missed about 18 months. We went right back to the distributor of the unit and tried to.
In the pool that you're in, it's an outdoor pool, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that pool, what is the temperature that it's?
84.
Okay, that's in the summertime?
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, because, well,
Yeah. Especially with that breeze coming off the lake right down. Yeah.
Anybody else have anything? Okay, I will go ahead and entertain a motion that we approve the bids to replace the Port Shiloh pool heater.
Make the motion that we accept the bid for 43,000.
McDonough Mechanical, 43,700.
43,700. Mr. Pooley.
Have a second? Have a second? Okay, please read the roll call.
Commissioner May?
Aye.
Commissioner Pye?
Aye.
Commissioner Magiera?
Okay, next one's on the flooring.
So the next one on there is a quote for flooring for the downstairs sports arena fitness studio lobby. So that lobby renovation has come along really nice. Maintenance and Rich's team has done a great job repurposing that concession stand into what now looks to me like a real clean, professional looking reception area. And had a lot of good feedback and comments from patrons that just really like the new look and are happy to see some of the improvements. Painting is, if it wasn't finished up today, should be finished up, by the end of the day tomorrow down there. And to really complete the renovation, we'd like to install new flooring. initial flooring in the downstairs lobby, which covers really everything down there from the entranceway coming in through the hall, the entire kind of main lobby there into the bathrooms. It's kind of a combination of flooring right now, where when you come in, it's kind of the red flooring, and then it's the old whiter flooring, which has probably been in the facility for how many years? And so we really think that this flooring would really finish off the whole downstairs area. Patrons would really appreciate the look of it, and it would just tie everything together. So,
And you're already hearing some comments about.
yeah, people are really liking, just kind of the updating and the updating efforts.
Are any bids required on this?
No, this one was not required for bidding because it's below the threshold of 29,800. And that includes our maintenance staff doing some work too to keep that cost down, as far as like we're going to install the baseboarding around the bottom, do some of the cleanup and some of the removal of like the bathroom partitions. So we tried to save as much money as we could with some of the work that we can perform in-house.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
It says nice palace, is that who we're using?
Yes.
Yes, we do. A lot of the major churches in the area.
Yeah.
My house.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go ahead and entertain a motion for the quote for the new flooring for the SAFS lobby at the Leisure Center.
Motion to just died on me. Okay. To approve the installation of the flooring for FASS in the amount of $29,800.
Have a second? All right, I have a second. Okay, please read the roll call.
Aye.
Commissioner Pride.
Aye.
Commissioner Raymond.
Aye.
President
Aye. Okay, next one is the potential rental of the maintenance building.
Yeah. So this is a new idea that I wanted to discuss with the board here.
The dreaded maintenance building.
Well, yes, that's part of our problem, right? So Hebron, really non-operational. Rich has been working, and his crews have been working out of like satellite locations all throughout the district, right? A mixture of different garages, small garages that we have, whether it's the small garage in Shiloh Park, the garage out at Jordan Park, the Kedron facility, right? And our initial plan was, and we're continuing to work in that direction, was to build a new maintenance facility, right? Which we're working with Camosi and community architects on the architectural drawings for it. But with those costs for the building coming in at potentially, $4 million or more, that would require us to go out for a bond in this entire amount if we were to start construction in 2025. So now, with the cost of the bonds for to complete the two OSLAD grants, right? So we know we have about 3.2 million right now saved in the construction fund, but we have both OSLAD projects, David Park and Shiloh Park, that will be in construction here shortly in 2024. So we knew we'd have to take out the bond of about $2.7 million or so to supplement the money in our construction fund for those projects. But if we layered another $4+ million on top of that in 2025, then we'd be looking at bond payments that are going to be stretching us out 15+ years. And so just kind of preliminary discussions with Aaron Gold at Spear Financial, that was the initial model. When I said, okay, this is our plan, and he said, okay, here's the model. Like, I don't think we want to strap ourselves for 15 years of bond payments and debt of almost $7 million, right? Take that out in 2 years. So the next plan, then the next thought is, okay, let's just issue the debt required to complete the OSLAD projects and pay that down as aggressively as we can, which we could pay down in probably just less than 4 years, 3.5 years before, if we just took out the $2.7 million for the OSLAD projects. and then that would cause us to have to delay any funding or any building on the maintenance facility until those bonds are paid. Right? So now we're looking at like a 4-year short-term gap and problem to fill for maintenance to really have a consolidated space where they can run operations out of. So I did find a space that we had looked at years ago. We went back to it. It's the Dill Brothers building, if you know where that's at on 20th Street. I have a picture in here that shows the property from an aerial along with the actual building. Yeah, and so it's a 12,000 square foot building with about 35-foot ceiling. So I think it's PDF page 74 in the PDF, so back. So the owner of the building, he actually owns this large 12,000 square foot building along with the building right next to it to the east. And we would be looking to rent just the single storage type building, which currently right now he's renting out for both storage and things like that. Their lease runs out May 31st. So it's actually really fortunate how some of this worked out to where this is available, and then it would allow us again to consolidate this operation. So that's our thought and our plan. I've been going back and forth with the owner's broker to try to get down to an amount, which you can see just like a preliminary proposal that he had put together. So with each lease term of whether 18, 24, 36, 48 months, so that's PDF page 75 is where like the lease proposal starts. Just to try to kind of get an understanding of what that lease payment looks like a month. Was able to get them down to $6,500 a month, which is a good which is a good monthly amount for 12,000 square feet. And to be honest, the interest on our bonds would be more than that lease payment is annually per month. So I mean, we were looking at 150,000 to 175,000 in bond interest, right, over a long period of time. Which obviously the interest comes down as you get closer to maturity. But so what I'm asking for is the board's approval to continue on this path and continue to work with what will then be our attorney and the real estate broker to come to a final lease.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna pull it. I'm glad that building lasted as long as it did. I really am, and we need to get out of it soon, like real soon.
Yeah, I mean we are pretty much out of there. There's a handful of things stored in there
We
right
need
now.
to go somewhere.
Yes, we are. So we're renting 16th Street, which is about a 3,000 square foot space.
So we would get rid of that?
No, we'll keep that because that's been a good mechanicing operation. So Adam, our mechanic, we have a lift in there, and just a couple pieces of equipment, really whatever he's working on at the time. That's a nice location too because it's kind of central between Shepherd's Brook and here. And so Adam, our mechanic, is really our only true mechanic who's maintaining the equipment for 2 golf courses and an entire park district on his own. So he always has plenty of projects in that space at any one time going on. And that's been a good space for him. So we would still need that. This space, we would not put any improvements in or anything like that. We wouldn't put a lift out there. It's more just like a cold storage area where we can consolidate, all the trucks, most of the mowers.
And what you're thinking right now for the board to continue on this track to obtain the property with completely actually contract out, or would you come back to the board?
Yeah, no, I would come back to the board, hopefully in March, with a lease agreement to.
Right. So what we're doing is just approving to move forward with this.
Yeah,
project.
right. Because I know it's a new concept. This is not something that we had talked about before, so I wanted to introduce it to you before, getting a lawyer involved and.
It's a good idea. I mean, we're gonna need somewhere to put the vehicles anyway. So
The people that are putting their boats in there, they're no longer having their boats in there?
The current guy's lease is up May 31st, and from the owner's perspective, he would rather rent to us on a 48-month term than to rent to this guy. Maybe not on 6-month terms annually. So he said, "Yeah, if you guys want it for 48 months, I'm happy to.
Cool. All right. So, any other questions?
It's just a question of cost.
Yeah.
That's comparable to other places.
Yeah, the square footage, like the price per square foot is very aggressive and good. I mean, he initially came back and you can see the different options there based on the terms. So if we just took it for 18 months, it'd be 8,500. And then he had the 48 month at 7,300. And we got him down $800 a month on that to 6,500. I do have a friend that works in real estate and just kind of ran it by him for like, hey, does it seem like a good price to you? You know, because we're just taking it from his broker. And he's like, no, that's a very good price for 12,000 plus square feet. And especially with us being constrained to having to find a facility in time. Right.
And the fact that it was just a lease without locked into the life.
Right.
Okay. Any other questions? Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah,
No, please, please.
And I have, real quick too, just to add, I have prepared the general fund budget with the assumption of these lease payments in it, and it does fit within the general fund budget.
So you know that you need the 48 months before the maintenance building is
The main reason why the 48-month term is attractive is because that's approximately how long it's going to take to pay off the bonds
okay.
that are going to be issued for the park grants. And now, hopefully, too, there's some other unknowns, right? Like this CEJA grant, the nuclear money that we were allotted, that we seemingly answer emails on every day, but have no progress on. I mean, if we can get well into that process and start collecting that money and put it into the construction fund as well, I mean, in an ideal world, we have, again, $3+ million, you know, at the end of 4 years that we've been able to stock away from the CEJA money, so we wouldn't have to issue a large bond. But, you know, I don't want to overpromise that because it's been a very difficult process to get that money, but it is a revenue source out there.
I think this was good work on, putting all this together. And let's face it, you're not going to really find anything like this around Zion.
Yeah.
This big.
Yeah.
And be able to store vehicles. And a lot of great questions, too. So that's good. Jess, you got anything?
No.
Okay.
I like this idea. I think we can go forward on this. Where we go.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. As long as nobody has anything else, I'm going to go ahead and entertain a motion to approve that we move forward on the rental for the maintenance building. I have a second. I have a second. Kay, please read the roll call.
Commissioner Green?
Aye.
Commissioner Hyde?
Aye.
Commissioner
Aye.
Commissioner President?
Okay, the gypsy moth.
Yeah, the last one is the gypsy moth spray in Shiloh Park. This is the same, treatment that we've been doing annually now for probably the last, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years. It's an aerial spray, and it shows the map of wherever we sprayed. And again, I like and just want to make the board aware of this, right, and seeking the board's approval to do this treatment because, again, it's an aerial spray.
Yeah.
It's 2 applications. It's 3588.75 per application. It'll treat a total of 43.5 acres in Shiloh Park. And it really protects, the beautiful oak trees out there in the oak savanna from the invasive gypsy moth larvae.
I bring this up every year, and I know, but is Zion Fire Department going to have involved with this at all? Having a truck stand by while this fuel is flying that low altitude? Because let me tell you,
So we put out
I'm no expert.
We do put out a public notice, so the community is aware of the treatment.
That's not so much what I'm worried about. What I'm worried about is the safety of that helicopter and flying that low of an altitude.
I don't think that much as people asking questions that day.
Yeah.
They see it in the air and say, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So maybe from that perspective, maybe from the city,
Yeah. Well, and they'll call us. Trust me, we'll get calls. The other thing that you'll start to see as the treatment hits the trees is the larva trying to get away from it. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's just this really nasty larva that's trying to get away from and then people call on that too.
I just think that it's for safety reasons. There should be a fire truck standing by. Like I said, I've seen enough in my time that everybody thinks it's all safe, but actually things happen.
How long does that spray take for them to put one treatment on?
Right.
About an hour.
Okay.
It comes right over.
Well, if the fire department is willing to come up for an hour.
Yeah, I mean, we certainly have a good relationship with them. We can talk to Chief Street over there.
I just feel more
We'll give
comfortable
the heads
with that
up.
than just this guy flowing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how many hours you have flight time. Bottom line is anything. Okay. Enough said on that.
So
Any questions?
the total amount to approve for the treatment is $7,177.50. That's
What was it, Eric, again? 7,000?
7177.5.
Who's the company or authorizing? Is
Hendricks.
it Ag
Hendrickson Flying Service.
Okay. So I would go ahead and entertain a motion that we approve the proposal for the gypsy moth aerial spray by Hendrickson Flying Service.
With motion, we approve the proposal for Henderson Fire Service to apply application for gypsy moth and the price of $7,177.50.
I have a second.
Second.
I have a second. Kay, please read the roll call.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're going to go into executive session.
Yep.
So I will entertain a motion that we go into executive session.
So
You got to read it.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of the board discussing employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of employees pursuant to section 2C1 of the Illinois Open Meeting Act.
I have a second.
second.
I have a second. Okay, please read the roll call.
Commissioner Tomei?
Aye.
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 Commissioner Commissioner President Hart?
Aye. All right.